Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and I welcome each and every single one of you to part 4 of our 30-band Royal Rumble extravaganza event bash and shit. And we are already moving on to part number 3. And I'm going to tell you what, as a start to our 30-band Royale, I must be honest, it's not quite what I expected to begin with. Maybe it's something you guys were expecting, or if you really had no idea what you were getting yourselves into for this, then who knows? Well, who knows exactly where we're going to go after this. We're just going to find out and take it one step at a time, because, you know what, anything could happen during this Battle Royale, so let's see what we're going to get into eyes today. So, if you would like to join with me, and ladies and gentlemen, as we begin our 10 count in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and...
And we will see how godless a nation we have become.
Okay.
Raise your hands out and justify. Your confession will be crucified. Your sacrificial suicide. Like a dog that's been sodomized.
Okay there, ladies and gentlemen, that was, if you've guessed it by now, East Jesus Nowhere by the greenest of days, Green Day. That's, you know what's really, really awesome about doing Green Day after, like, literally we're talking nearly a whole year since I last talked about Green Day. But when all it's said and done, what exactly are Green Day all about? Sort of like a 21st century sort of like showcase to the world that punk and alternative are very much still alive, and in many ways, Green Park have always sort of embodied a lot of the not just those that are waiting, but those who feel distrusted and discountenanced by the arrogance and the idiosyncrasy of the way that the world has been acting and stuff like American Idiot. And then you've also got literally just tales about suburban life and stuff like Jesus of Suburbia and Are We the Waiting, and including St. Jimmy. There's an awful... I think like 21st Century Breakdown itself like talked about a few of these things. I might have to go back and refresh my memory a little bit on that. And actually, you know what? Even though it's a Sunday evening and it's technically meant to be the Lord's Day of Rest, speaking of the Lord, this is meant to technically be quote-unquote an anti-religious song, because wasn't the story that Mike out of Green Day went to go to a baptism, and when he got back, he told Billy that he was absolutely disgusted by what went on during there, and I couldn't imagine what went on that was so disgusting. Was it just like a bunch of rednecks or a bunch of hillbillies being offensive to Mike? I genuinely would love to know exactly what Mike heard or what was technically going on at that baptism, because when you think about it, because a baptism is literally supposed to be cleansing a baby free of original sin, so that he can become the baby itself can become part of God's family almost there and then. It's not the same as like communion or confirmation or stuff like that, but it's one step basically there from not long after the infant is born. I think it's like a month or maybe 6 months after the infant is born is when its baptism is supposed to be held or something like that. But then of course they really, really go to town, don't they? Raise your hands now to testify. The hyper exaggerated testify. I'm not even gonna think about doing that, because, dude, I can. That's if that's not. I don't want to say it again. I don't want to say anything about how people can pray and stuff like that. But if the second I start to say testify or stuff like that, people will immediately look to me as if I'm taking the piss. Because, guys, that's if that is not quite taking the piss, if somebody like me said it, then I reckon, well, I certainly know how I could immediately take the piss, but I'm not really going to do that, and it doesn't take a genius to work out why. Your confession will be crucified. You're a sacrificial suicide, like a dog who's been sodomized. Well, stand up, all the white boys, sit down, all the black girls. I think the significance in lines like these is that this is going throughout history, and that the pretty much the pro-white dominance that leaders of Catholicism have pretty much had the world over. You only need to take a look at the Middle Ages in England to sort of like get a comparable idea to how, despite the preachings of love thy neighbor and all that, you can see it hasn't really struck home pretty much. But then again, listen, I'm now sort of like becoming one of those persons who looks to Christianity and, well, religion generally as sort of like, from a philosophical standpoint, as a basis for where morals lie and what it means to have something to believe in. Just because in history has shown us that because these people were Catholic means that all of a sudden they had every right possible to slaughter millions of people in the name of God during the time of Richard the Lionheart's crusade to the Middle East. Of course, it goes without saying that sort of thing is pretty much uncalled for. But that doesn't mean I automatically stop believing in the principles of, like the Ten Commandments and stuff like that, just because it's sort of like almost been given a bad name because of the people that are associated with it. Not as in like the 12 apostles, but just about everyone else who didn't quite understand what the whole point of Jesus was. A fire burns today of blasphemy and genocide. The sirens of decay will infiltrate the faith fanatics. Literally, sin is, well, more or less almost a device to coax people into being feared and scared, in which they just duck inside for whatever it is they've got left to hide behind. Perhaps their money, perhaps goodness knows what on earth else they're going to... Because we all know that very petulant sort of people like that exist in this world. That, again, that goes without saying. But it's the fact that they are the most powerful, they hold the money, and it's... I don't want to say there's anything overtly sort of like dirty attributed to the fact that Catholicism is literally just white people who have very substantial positions in society to say, do, and whatever they can in the name of Jesus or God or what they think God would have done in their scenario. Don't test me, second guess me, protest me, you will disappear. I want to know who's allowed to breed, or the dogs who never learned to read. Missionary politician. Yeah, it also religion has a very substantial hold in politics as well, and maybe some parts of the UK would definitely agree, but there are millions of places all over the world where religion is still heralded as something as a case to be followed by. Maybe this isn't just like a Catholicism that's been given a sort of like a bad name. It's just about every other religion that in history shows it's resulted in nothing but bloodshed, and nobody really is an innocent here, apart from the people who don't slaughter people in the name of Christ. And the cops of the new religion police control. A police state is the new religion, basically what they're talking about. They're not worshipping God, they're not worshipping Allah, Buddha, Abraham or anything like that. They're not worshipping those guys. They're worshipping people that are going to keep them safe and to make sure that their fortunes literally do not go to anyone else. Again, it seems like a pretty generalized version of what I think Green Day are trying to say, but then again, I bring it back to what Mike said, is that what on earth could have happened? Like, did it occur to him that in spite of the joy and the love that it's brought and the charity all over the world, that he still thinks that the hypocrisy of people all over history is far too much to ignore? I mean, one, it can't really be denied, no matter how you try and dress it up. But that doesn't mean that we should automatically assume that there's something sinister and dirty and wicked and evil just because people straight up didn't get the idea and decided to use it to their own ends. Is that how we ought to look at it? Because I don't really, because again, just don't be like those people in history who slaughtered people in the name of God. Just don't be one of those people. If you actually know anything at all about the Ten Commandments, then you will know pretty quickly that God or just about anyone else does not take carely to, going off with somebody's wife or literally just viewing everyone with suspicion and hatred. Again, these things go without saying, but I just wanted to make it absolutely clear because once again, we should be learning how to work together, not fight each other. maybe the day we do is maybe the day we start to do better for everyone. That's all I've got to say about that. So anyway, I hope you guys have enjoyed this reaction video. Please leave your thoughts and comments in the comment section down below. Let me know what you guys thought of East Jesus Nowhere by Green Day. Please also make sure to also like and subscribe to get daily notifications when my videos come out. And I hope to love you guys again in the next reaction video. Take care. Bye-bye for now.